Welcome to the January edition of 71 Magazine. I'm your host, John Bryantton, and joining me in the studio today, I'm very pleased to have Todd Reynolds, who is the newly appointed Executive Director of Theater Workshop of Owensboro, and also Wes Bartlett, who is an upcoming director, or a director of an upcoming production at the theater. Guys, welcome to the show.
Thanks, John.
And Wes, you certainly are not an upcoming director, so I apologize for that. Anyhow, first, let's start off. Todd, congratulations on your new position at TWO, and you certainly are no stranger to the theater. Why don't you give us a little bit of your background of, how long you've been involved in the theater?
Well, I'll tell you what, John, I started out as one of those guys who really didn't think he liked theater, and I was 18. My girlfriend dragged me almost literally into the place to see a show, and I loved it and thought, how can I get involved? And I've been around ever since. Way too shy to be in a play at first. I just kind of hung around and did technical work, and finally somebody talked me into getting on stage, and from there it was directing and lots of other opportunities. I've met some wonderful people. I met my wife at Theater Workshop, and good friends like Wes Bartlett, who I've known for years. It's just been a terrific experience for me all around, and I'm looking forward to giving back to that.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, people will know that I was involved in Theater Workshop also, and that's really where I met you.
That's right.
And I can honestly say that it's about time that Todd Reynolds is given his opportunity to play in this role, because I think, really, truly, Todd, I think when I was at the theater, if I ever had a go-to person, it was you. It was, you have this unique ability to pull people in to the theater and get them involved. I would venture to say that probably a lot of people who are involved in the theater today is a direct result of you talking to them and bringing them in.
Well, thank you, John. I hope that's right. I know what it's meant to my life, and it's really been an important component to me, and so I like to share that with everybody when I can. And I can't tell you how often I've heard those kind of stories. People who've now been at the theater maybe a dozen years, and they say, this really came at a time in my life when I needed something like this.
Right.
And we need all kinds of people involved at the audience level, or whether you're helping seat people for performance. We need those folks backstage, and of course we need the performers. That's what everybody thinks about when they come to the show, or the people that they see on stage. But gosh, there are dozens of folks for every actor that we've got. We've got a whole team supporting them. So
well, and I can really be a testament to this, because when I took my position there, I'd never been to the theater. I'd never even seen a play, and after I saw my first play, it's an addiction. Once you see your first show, are they professional actors? Technically, no, but if you ask me, they are. I've been on the stage once, and it is hard. I'm telling you, it is difficult to do that. So, kudos to everyone who does it, but I think I have been nothing but awestruck by the performances that Theater Workshop has put on over the years. And it's just a great organization, and I think every one of you should give a shot at Theater Workshop and go and just see one show. All I'm asking you to do is go see one show. I think you'll be impressed. Okay, I've got off my soapbox about how much I like the theater.
I liked watching you there.
Yeah, well, let me tell you what, I have a passion for it. So, anyhow, Todd, you got a great event coming up on the 17th. Tell us about that.
Oh, Ben Sollee, yeah, he's an internationally known cellist, and he's a Lexington boy. Did you know that? He's born right here in Kentucky, and he kind of crosses a lot of genres. You think of a cellist as being classically trained, and I'm sure he is, but he also hits bluegrass and jazz and blues, and my gosh, he does a little bit of everything. He's a very politically active fellow. He puts on an electric performance, and I hope everybody will take an evening to treat themselves to something special and come see this guy. It's a performance you won't forget.
Yeah, well, matter of fact, I would recommend that everybody go to, I believe it's bobsollee.com. If you will go to his website, he's got videos there of his performances. I've done my research.
Yeah. And
because I didn't know what this was when you sent this.
Right.
This is crazy. This guy is great. It's a very modern, and he's a storyteller too. It's fantastic. So I really think this is going to, and this is actually going to be at the Empress, is it not?
Yes. So call the TWO ticket office for ticket information. 270-683-5333. We'll give you nights, and Mike Quigg is the master of the ticket takers. He will find the best possible seat for you, and fix you right up.
Okay, well, excellent. Well, listen, I understand that you've got an audition coming up in January for a new performance.
You know, we do, and it's one that's kind of close to my heart because I was in it a long time ago. It's called Death Trap, and it's one of those murder mysteries that you really like to sink your teeth into, both as an actor and as an audience member. It's pretty special.
Okay. What's the next show that's opening up?
Well, I'm glad you asked me that. We've got one that's just passed that I saw today, and my goodness, it was wonderful. But the next up is also is going to really be a treat for folks, and that's called The Last Days of Judas Iscariot. We have a wonderful cast assembled and a really veteran, terrific director, and wouldn't you know,
he happens
just
to
had
be
a few
here.
minutes to come join us.
Wes
would have it.
Yeah. Wes, welcome to the show, and you've been directing for quite some time down to theater. I know you were involved in it even when I was down there. So how long have you been involved in theater? In theater, not just TWO.
I was 6 years old when I was first on stage, and it got in my blood then, and I did it through high school and college, and have been really lucky to be able to be involved in several theaters as I work in other professions. So I would agree with what you guys said earlier. It certainly does provide a great outlet for a lot of people that have a lot of wide variety of talents, and gosh, how many friends have we made over the last several years from folks we've met down there. So it's a great environment.
You know, kind of off the subject, I was reading the newspaper this morning, and it was Dear Abby or something, and someone was talking about where to meet people. And this woman's whole focus was, because they talk about going here, going to the symphony, doing this. This woman said, go to a community theater and get involved. She said, that's where I met, you know, my spouse. Of course, I'm thinking, you know, maybe this was you writing in the Dear Abby or something. But no, it is. It's a great place to build camaraderie. Matter of fact, it's been 10 years since I've been at the theater, and I still am very close to a lot of people that I met there. So it is a great place to meet folks. But Wes, let's get back to the play. Tell our viewers, what is this play all about?
This is a hypothetical trial set in purgatory about Judas Iscariot. There's a lawyer who decides that Judas needs to be let off the hook, that all the other characters that were complicit in the crucifixion of Christ have in this play been sort of forgiven, and Judas is left being the scapegoat. And so she's there to take up his case. And through this trial, we have a number of witnesses that come in, both from the Bible and in the anti-realistic nature of the play. We have Mother Teresa, we have Sigmund Freud, we have a number of characters pop up that all have rather interesting views on this subject. And I liked it primarily because it made me laugh out loud when I read it. But it struck me initially as being rather political. It reminded me of a die-hard group of conservatives thrown in with a die-hard group of liberals. None of them will listen to each other. And the author very generously attacks everyone at every occasion and really talks a lot about guilt and blame, not only in that setting, but in our society in general. How we as a people tend to be very eager to point the finger at someone else without any self-reflection.
It's amazing how that kind of reflects how society is today, especially in our political society, you know, our political world that we're dealing with today. And I love the undertones. I love them. It ought to be interesting. Now, really, what interested you in directing this production?
Well, number one was the fact that it had some really great roles for actors. In the anti-realistic nature that the play is written, we're also going to be doing some anti-realistic staging. Briefly, one character may appear as a character early in the show, and 10 minutes later, they reappear as a completely different character. And there's no real effort to mask that. So we're really emphasizing not just the acting abilities of our great performers, but more the message of the play. And that drew me to it, primarily.
Right. It doesn't take much to draw you to a play, though.
Well,
it really doesn't, Wes.
I would say that's not exactly correct. I have been involved long enough, and I've been very lucky to be involved in some productions that I had a great amount of fun in. But at this stage of my life, I'm really looking for challenges. I like tackling a project when I go in and I think, will this succeed or not? I don't know. And that fear of the unknown And the challenge that a show brings is really a lot more important to me than simply doing something that I know is going to be commercially successful.
Right, right. Okay, who are you targeting for this play? I mean, as far as an audience member, I mean, what kind of an audience are you looking for to come to this show?
Well, we're looking for a wide audience, but it might be a little more prudent to discuss maybe who we're not targeting. The play is a little controversial in the fact that it uses some very vulgar language, very explicit language. Of course, what would you expect from Satan and from Caiaphas and the like? So we don't really market this play to a younger audience, and certainly if any adult is going to be offended by bad language, this is a play that they might not want to attend. We do about 85–90% of our shows for a family audience. This is the one play in a couple of years that might be a little bit more for an intellectual audience, one that's not afraid to think a little bit. But in the meantime, we plan to entertain them. So if you're a fan of Monty Python, if you're a fan of really ridiculous humor with some over-exaggerated stereotypical characters mixed in with some very deep philosophical questions. That, to me, is the beauty of the show. That's what drew me in. But again, if hearing a bad word is going to really offend your sensibilities, we would just encourage you not to come and go to the next show, which will be much more conducive to their tastes.
Okay. So what are the performance dates of this show?
We open the last weekend in January and run the first 2 weekends in February.
Okay. And now, is it each week? Is it Friday? What are the?
We open with a dinner theater on a Thursday and then have a Friday, Saturday performance. The next week we have Friday, Saturday, Sunday matinee, and then we end up on a Friday and Saturday.
Okay. Great, excellent. Todd, how much are tickets and how can folks go about getting those?
Well, adult tickets are $15, students are $10, and the best way to do it is to come see us at 407 West 5th Street or give us a call, the box office number 270-683-5333.
Okay, guys, listen, thanks for joining me, and thanks again. Congratulations again, Todd, and the same to you, Wes, or maybe should I say break a leg?
That would be great.
I guess that's what they say in the theater business. So thanks again, guys. I do appreciate it. And thank you for tuning into this segment of 71 Magazine. Wishing you all a safe and prosperous 2015.
I go to Owensboro Community and Technical College
because it's so close.
I go
for the small class sizes.
I go because I can transfer my credits. I go because
I can take classes when it works for me.
I go to get a better job.
I go for some of Kentucky's most affordable tuition.
I go because it's crazy not to.
For all the right reasons, Owensboro Community and Technical College. Higher education begins here.